Hello, it's me, Grandmaster Thomas Dorr, and in this video I'm just going to be talking about my martial arts and what I've done and offer some of my opinions and things. It's my opportunity to speak. So the thing is, about me and my martial arts. Well, I've been doing martial arts. Basically, I've been interested in the martial arts since I was a child. I watched Bruce Lee films and stuff when I was very young. I didn't want to be Bruce Lee. I wanted to be like Bruce. And I watched all the American Ninja films and things when I was a kid. And Karate Kid films. And Steven Seagal films and Van Damme and all of this stuff. And I thought it was brilliant. So, I mean, I always wanted No Retreat, No Surrenders as well. You know, lots and lots of different martial arts films. Perfect Weapon, Showdown in Little Tokyo. And, you know, lots and lots of influences from the world of martial arts film. And I was just the right age for the Ninja Turtles craze as well when I was about 8, 9 years old. That came to this country, and it was another thing. And also when I was a kid, fighting games like Street Fighter 2 was released when I was 9, and I mean, how amazing was that? And Mortal Kombat was out, and you know, if there was something wrong with you if you were a kid and you didn't like Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter 2, you know, I mean, that's just how it was in the early 90s when we was kids. But I loved it. I still play Street Fighter 2 and stuff now, like Champion Edition and stuff. But yeah, so I mean, I was always interested in the martial arts from a young age, from about 7 or 8 years old. And I started training at home, literally with foam nunchucks and just flinging them around and stuff. And I did have real ones as well. And you learn quickly with real nunchucks. You smack yourself in the head with that. You learn not to muck around with them very quickly. So yeah, I mean, I was very young. I had these foam nunchucks and real ones and stuff. And I was also doing like lifting weights and things at home. But I didn't really see much lifting weights. You can do that any time, really. It's not that much skill involved. But, I mean, it depends. I mean, if you just want to work out at home, or if you want to go straight into, like, full-on, like, you know, it's like any subject. You can go into it as much as you want. I mean, you could do weightlifting for an Olympic team if you really wanted to go in depth. But for me personally, you know, I do a dumbbell workout every so often now at home. But other than that, weightlifting, not really. I was too young for weightlifting, really. I was just doing some dumbbells and barbell stuff at home. But I had a friend who liked Taekwondo, and it was Atlantic Taekwondo, and I was really into martial arts anyway. But I never actually trained anywhere, so I went to Atlantic Taekwondo, and I didn't think much of it. I only went a few times though. I was very nervous. I mean, I was only about 11 or 12 or something. It was very brave for me to do that. Just go into a club. I mean, I know my friend was about green belt or, you know, something like that, yellow belt or something, green belt. So, I mean, I knew someone that was there, and his mum went a few times as well. And it was like I was in the club. It was like I was a ghost. Nobody ever walked up to me and said, "Hello, are you a new student?" It was like I was a ghost. It was like, who the fuck is that kid? Which is exactly the opposite of how any decent martial arts club should be. The oldest, highest ranks teach the beginners and the new ones, you know, and they make them feel welcome. That's how you do it. You know, you've got to greet the new members or people that are there. Even if it's just one person you've never seen before, you communicate with people. But anyway, I went to Atlantic, and it wasn't for me, Atlantic Taekwondo. But because I was so interested in the martial arts, I thought, you know, I want to do Taekwondo. I want to do kicks. You see, when I was younger, karate and Karate Kid and stuff, it was karate was seen as slow, and it wasn't, it was just a bit slow, really. And taekwondo was kicking, and I wanted to kick, you see. So the thing is, when I was a kid, I would get told off like play fighting and stuff. Never had any serious fights when I was a kid. But I mean, we would do wrestling moves on each other, and, some kids might get hurt, but then they'd be best friends the next day, you know what I mean? And, yeah, but I remember being told off, and it's like, never kick. Donkeys kick. That's not what gentlemen do and things. Kicking was like seen as forbidden and stuff. And I wanted to kick because I remember being 6 years old, and it was boxing on the television. And I was watching these people in the boxing match doing a few moves, and I thought, I mean, there's no reason for me to think this way, but it was like, surely human beings can do more than just those few moves with their arms. And it was like, I was 6. I wouldn't have known how to have even said that like that. But I think when I was 6, it was probably more like, surely there's more they can do. Surely that's not all they're doing. It looked really simple. So when I started watching Bruce Lee and things, he was doing the sort of things that I thought humans were capable of doing, moving his legs and doing all these things. And, yeah, so I mean, I wanted to learn, and Atlantic Taekwondo, God bless them, it wasn't for me. I wasn't even acknowledged, but I only went a few times, and I thought it was crap. I mean, it's only my opinion, but I thought Atlantic Taekwondo near where I lived it wasn't very good. So I gave up. I was still into martial arts, playing all the games and watching the films and all of this stuff, and I went to GTF Taekwondo, which was at the secondary school where I was going to school. So it's like, I already know that school. I know the building. I know exactly where to go. Whereas when I was a kid, I was a kid anyway, but when I was a couple years younger, I went to this other school to do Atlantic. I didn't even know where I was going. So it was more daunting, but it wasn't the same. But GTF Taekwondo was a bit of a coincidence, because I rang up. I saw the advert in the paper, and I rang up the teacher. I want more information. I want to join, and I was enthusiastic. And I think they answered the phone or something. I put the phone down. I think I was a bit scared or something, but I just went. I just turned up. I thought I'll just walk there and see what it's like. And it was just a coincidence that 3 other boys started the exact same day that I did. It was such a coincidence. So there was the 4 of us all joined on the same day. And what I liked about GTF, compared to practically any other martial arts club I've ever trained in, is when you were in the GTF, it wasn't, the club I was in wasn't that big a club. So we had the whole school gym, and there wasn't that many people, really. I mean, there was never like 200 people in there, ever. And when I started, there was probably about 15, 20 people at the most. And it wasn't a great club, but the tuition was good. So, I mean, I joined, and I really wanted to learn, and I'm a very, very determined person. If I want to do something, if I want to learn something, I will. And I really enjoyed the tuition, and I think with GTF, the GTF school I was in, it was strict. It was, they were on you, and they were on you all the time. And I liked it, because there was no pissing about. There was no bickering or moaning, and the people that were moaning or bickering or pissing about would be told off. People that mucked about would be taken outside and you'd be screamed at, and if you did something wrong, you'd probably get knocked out. And I don't think, it wasn't like Cobra Kai where it was rough as rats, and if you did this wrong, you get smacked or something. It wasn't fictional, it was real, but it wasn't like bullshit. You wouldn't get told off all the time or shouted at, or if you pissed about, you get told off. If you showed enthusiasm, if you did good, you were not praised all the time, but it was like, good. So the teachers were on you. The instructor was on you. And if you fucked around, you were out. And I mean, not many people were messing around. I think there was one lesson where some lads came in and I think they just had a few beers or something. And my teacher took them out and he screamed at them. And I think they walked away. I think they realised what a stupid mistake they made. But yeah, so I was in Taekwondo, in GTF Taekwondo. I really enjoyed it, and literally, I was in GTF Taekwondo for about less than 3 years. And I got my black belt, my first dan black belt, but I couldn't see any future in it. And it was soul destroying. Because the thing is, my instructor was so into it. And we trained so hard that to actually know that there's no future in it was when you've been through that much pressure. The pressure that I went through, I know I put myself through it because I signed up for it. But the school in the GTF, it was, like I said, I got to black belt in under 3 years. So we were grading like 3-4 times a year. And, 4 times a year. 3 times, 4 times a year. And it was strict. It was good if you liked doing it. It was the best clubs I've trained in. But there was no future for me at all, considering my age. And my own teacher used to say to me every weekend, I used to, sometimes I would go train. I'd get in his car and we'd go driving around and stuff. We'd go to training and stuff. And he would say to me every weekend, practically, there's no money in this. There's no future in this. You have to really like doing this to do it. And it's like, because I liked it so much, I wanted to think, nah, I'll make a future. I mean, but there isn't. There wasn't any future. You're not going to be a millionaire doing that unless you're like severely lucky, But maybe if you lived in a city and you had like shitloads of people every time, when it's a quiet night, there's 50 people there, but not in Cornwall really. Not with the pressure we was under when we was training. But yeah, so it was soul destroying. So I was literally, my black belt in Taekwondo is probably one of the cheapest in terms of how much I paid to learn and train and stuff, because I used to get my lessons for free in return for helping to teach. And I used to assist teaching with the kids mostly because I was closer to their age than I was my teachers. I was a teenager. And so I would get my lessons free in return for helping. Sometimes I helped the adults as well. But I was a teenager and I was heavily involved in GTF in my club. I was literally at Taekwondo for a couple of months and then I was in a tournament. And there were some real Karate Kid style moments. People that are just full on idiots, bullies, bias, crap, all of the things that you see in these films that, like Karate Kid and stuff like that. There's all that shit and 10 times more in lots of these tournaments. But yeah, I got a gold medal in certificate form for sparring, and I was thrilled. I was absolutely thrilled, because the thing is, I do martial arts. I don't like football. I don't like sport, basketball, any of this shit. It bores me to tears. But with the martial arts, it's good for people that work hard, that are not into team sports so much. I mean, because if you put the effort in martial arts, you will get the rewards, because it's about self-enhancement, self-discipline, self-improvement. It's not about which team can get the most medals. That's bullshit. That's just sport karate for money, competing for a bit of popularity. But yeah, so I mean, there's nothing wrong with representing your club, but you have to understand, when I was a young kid, I tried things like football, basketball, cricket. I tried all these sports, athletics, all sorts of stuff. So I knew I didn't like them, not because I just didn't want to do that. I tried them, and so I knew I didn't like it because I'd give it a go. But with the martial arts, when I've been doing taekwondo, you've got to understand, I've been 14 for about 2 minutes, and then I've been doing taekwondo for about 2 or 3 months, and all of a sudden I'm in a tournament, and that was a big deal. And we were all beginners. I was a yellow tag, a white belt yellow tag, and very daunting indeed. And you've got to understand that I am not a competitive person. Like I just said, I hate sports. So it was a double whammy for me. You're not a competitive person, you hate sports, and you're in a martial arts tournament where everybody just wants to win. And if you don't win a medal, you're shit. Fuck off. That's what it's like, It's all about that gold medal. Yeah. But anyway, so I got a gold medal, and I was thrilled. And I carried on training. I would have carried on anyway. But there was this guy in our club that was an absolute dick. And I beat him in a fight for the gold medal, I think, and he never came back. I mean, this guy was only like a yellow belt or something himself. So, I mean, it's not like he was a fucking grandmaster or some shit. But he actually was walking around like he was better than everyone else. And I beat him in the tournament, and then he never came back. Never came back to the club. So for all of his boasting and thinking he's better than everyone else, never came back when I beat him in that first tournament. So yeah, I carried on with the taekwondo, and to be honest, with taekwondo, the club, the standard of tuition was great. The club wasn't great. The actual venue was great. You see? So, I mean, you can't have there's no such thing as your ideal club, because there's always something, because we're all human beings. But yeah, so I mean, I was in GTF and I was loving it, and I was training. I went back to the same tournament the next year, and I was a blue tag, and I won a medal. And I went back to the same tournament as black tag in 98. It was that long ago. And I won a medal then as well. And my instructor was furious because he said I should have won a medal for the forms as well. But the biased referees gave it to this guy who was crap. But anyway, I was student of the year. I was in the demo team. I was assistant instructor when I was like 14. I was heavily involved. And after taekwondo, the thing is, the problem with taekwondo was, the closer I got to my black belt, the more I realised my instructor is telling the truth when he says, you have to be into it, there's no money in it, and all of this. And I thought, fucking hell, he's actually telling the truth. And I wanted to quit at every stage almost over something. But because I enjoyed training, if it wasn't exams, if it was something going on in school or something, or just can't be bothered, I kept on in there because I wanted to get to black belt. So with GTF, I didn't have any ambition past black belt. And then I gave up my black belt. I got my black belt, and then that was it. I was out. I left, and I made up an excuse with my teacher at college, write some bullshit note, so it took the pressure off me. And I was in tears when I left. Walked to the club and said to my instructor, I can't come back and stuff, and left. But, towards the end of the night, it was tears of relief. Because there was no future past first dan for me. Anyway, so I made up all this stuff about having problems with my teachers and mucking around, and I have to improve my grades and stuff, so I have to give up taekwondo. That was all lies. It took a lot of pressure off me, But also, whilst I was doing taekwondo, I was hectic. When I was a kid, lots of kids, they just went to school and then they come home and they try and set fire to the neighbour's cat, and they tell each other to fuck off and have parties, and all of a sudden 600 kids turn up at their house and stuff. I didn't really do that. I was like a fucking robot when I was a kid. I did stupid shit. I swore, I did things. I got in trouble and got told off every so often. But it was, I was more of a robot when I was a kid. I went to school, and then I came home and I had my evening meal and stuff, I had my tea, and then I went back to school to do taekwondo. And as if that's not enough, I was doing Laogar Kung Fu as well in the 90s, because my older brother had done Laogar Kung Fu years before. And I thought, I'll give that a go. So as if I wasn't doing enough, I was doing Laogar Kung Fu as well, around about 96, 97. And at some points, it was just hectic. I think by the time it got to about 98, early 98, I was out of Kung Fu because I thought the Laogar Kung Fu was crap. And the funniest thing is, I went back to Laogar Kung Fu years later, but in a different school, which was better. But I was going to school and doing taekwondo and doing Kung Fu. So, you imagine doing that 14, 15 years old. So, at many, many weeks, I was training every day. And I was absolutely exhausted. And also, I was really skinny because I didn't used to eat hardly anything all day. And come home, as well as exercising like I'm in the Marines or something. And I did train alongside the Marines once, but that was with GTF. But I would come home from school, and after basically starving myself all day, having like a sandwich and a bottle of drink, and that was it all day, no breakfast, just a sandwich and a bottle of water, come home from school and eat like a pig, like the whole day's worth of food, and then just do that most days, like 5 days a week or something. And like at weekends, I probably eat like a pig and stuff, but 5 days a week, I was eating fuck all, and I was exercising so much every day. I was at school, I was like a teenager at school, and a couple of times I almost passed out. I had to sit outside the classes to get my breath back, because I was, they were all kids that never really did any exercise unless it was football or stealing cars or something. And, and I was exhausted from all this martial arts, like I was training for the fucking Olympic team or something. So yeah, all this martial arts definitely changed my perspective on things, because the thing is, when I was at school, I'm not going to name names because these people don't deserve to be named, but when I was at school, there was this teacher that had a problem with me, and they seemed to think that everything that was wrong in their life was my fault. And it wasn't. And after I left that school, somebody else did something, like burned the school down or something, and it was just priceless. It was like, you blamed me for all of this stuff and I'm the angel of death and all of these things. And there were teachers actually saying that I'm a psycho and all of this bullshit. And of course I'm not. I never did anything wrong at all. I mean, I did a few things wrong, but nothing big, like, you know, I was never a psycho or any of these nasty things. And through my Taekwondo training, I just lost all respect for these people because they were idiots. They were like, lots of these school teachers are just like kids that haven't really grown up properly. They just want to bully the other kids, you know, and really pathetic, I thought. And blaming me for all of these things I haven't done, and saying that I'm a psycho and this is grown men and women and I'm like a little teenage boy. Oh yeah, Tom Dawes a psycho and all of this stuff. And it's like, I lost respect for all of these twats because, like, I could kill someone with my bare hands by the time I was like 14, 15. And I just thought, these people can fuck off. They're not teaching me anything except how not to be like them. And you go through school, and all human beings, basically, we have to go through school and education systems and stuff. But most human beings, we end up learning or doing subjects that we want to do, if we bother to do anything like that. And it really helped me doing all this Taekwondo and stuff, because the thing is, all of these people, these teachers were really fucking childish and pathetic and blaming me for everything that wasn't my fault and having to go to speak to teachers and things. And the only problems I actually had were people like them in the fucking first place. And, you know, if you were older, you know, it's always hindsight is 20/20, isn't it? But you would go back in time and you would say, well, no offence, but, you know, I'm fucking student of the year at Taekwondo and one of the best students in the entire club, and you're calling me a psycho and blaming me for all these things I haven't done. You need to fuck off and grow up. And it's like, you can't do it, you get expelled. But, you know what you're thinking. They're all calling, saying you've got problems. It's like, the only fucking problems I ever had were these people saying I had problems. I never had a problem in my life. So yeah, I was busy as fuck with the martial arts, with Kung Fu and Taekwondo, and I thought Kung Fu, where I trained, was shit. So I gave up, carried on with the Taekwondo, got my black belt. Then I just thought, you know, I'll just be a teenager for a while. And, you know, I had my problems. I wasn't faultless by a mile. I had my own problems and drinking and partying and shit. And I got through it. And I went back to Laogar Kung Fu. And then I was in Laogar Kung Fu. I wanted to like Laogar Kung Fu, but basically, I ran up the road because it said Wing Chun on the advert. If there was Wing Chun up the road, I'd probably still be there now. But yeah, I did Laogar. I did a bit of Wing Chun at Nuki and a bit of Laogar at Nuki as well. And I was at university as well. And when I was at university, I did Tai Chi. And the Tai Chi, the thing is, all of my training was like punch, kick, do damage. And the Tai Chi was like, relax, bend your knees. Relax, Thomas. Good, breathe. Close your eyes if you want to. You know, really the other end of the scale. But I did Tai Chi because of my posture. You see, I was terrified of being like 30 years old and having a hunchback, because I was walking in my early 20s that, like I was hunched over, like I was leaning forward with my shoulders and looking forward. And I wanted to do something about my posture. And Tai Chi was perfect for helping with your posture and just chilling and relaxing a bit. But there was no rest for me, because I was at university and I was doing Laogar and Kung Fu, Laogar and Wing Chun and stuff, whilst I was at university in my halls of residence and stuff, in my own little room. And where we used to do Tai Chi in Exmouth University, sometimes they would have girls doing dancing routines. So I would sit there and watch them, and then I would go, when the Tai Chi people came in, I'd join in with them. But quite a few times, I had that entire room, a big hall, like an assembly hall. I had that entire room to myself. So I just went in that hall, and I literally, by myself, at Exmouth University, I went in that hall, and I did Laogar Kung Fu and a bit of Wing Chun and stuff for an hour. And I was streaming with sweat and like I had a real good workout. Nobody was there. Nobody saw me. Nobody. And I think if anyone saw me, they would have been really fucking impressed. But anyway, then the Tai Chi people came in. So I used the Tai Chi as like my cool down from the training. So I mean, I've really got my fucking money's worth. But the problem with the Tai Chi that I did was I was a beginner student, but obviously advanced in Taekwondo and all of this stuff, like you're used to learning at an accelerated rate. But with the Tai Chi at university, every time somebody new joined, there was like somebody different would turn up each time. When somebody new joined, all of us went back to the beginning. So I never really learned more than a few moves and some pissing about, but it was nice to go there and speak to these people and relax. So the people from Tai Chi at uni, they were very good at what they did, and I enjoyed training with them. But being young and not having much time there, I thought, correctly from my years of training, this is fucking going nowhere. Let's not beat around the bush. I'm not going to be learning fuck all from these people, except like maybe a dozen like breathe in, breathe out moves, like basic Qigong and stuff that I memorized. But anyway, so I said to the guy, could you teach me the form quick? And I'll slow down, teach me like it's a Kung Fu speed. And I'll slow down, like teach me a bit at a time. And he was like, no, that would take too long. It was, I don't think he could do it. And I tell you, it's weird when it comes to speed with the martial arts. Anyone listening, if you've ever tried doing a kata, for example, different styles of martial arts have different kata and different forms, obviously, those that have forms in kata. And some forms are designed to be done slow. Some are designed to be done at super speed. And when you try changing the speed, it's very difficult. So, I mean, it probably would have really stretched that Tai Chi teacher to have taught me the form quickly, moving, and then I said, and then slow it down. It would have been too much. And I think even if he was doing an advanced class, it probably would have taken me about 6 months anyway, a year anyway. So yeah, I was doing, I carried on until practically the end of university, and I carried on, and I was, gived up Laogar Kung Fu. I gave up Wing Chun. I didn't want to give up Wing Chun. I liked Wing Chun. I wanted to like Laogar Kung Fu. I really did, but I didn't. I thought it was crap. I wanted to like it, but it was rubbish. The thing is, one of the biggest problems I have with Laogar Kung Fu in both of the clubs I trained in, and this is the most popular Kung Fu in the UK and Ireland, is most of the time that you've got like an hour Kung Fu lesson, most of that hour you were going to be doing push-ups and sit-ups and leg raises and pissing about. And you're only going to be doing about 15-20 minutes Kung Fu. And so that's why it takes those people years and years to get to Black Sash, because it takes you like 10 hours to get a fucking hour's worth of Kung Fu. Whereas in Taekwondo, we did like a 10-15 minute warm-up at the most. Most of the exercise was the training, not doing fucking aerobics for like 45 minutes before you train. But anyway, when one of the main things with Laogar Kung Fu, we never did any sparring at all. Now, simulated fighting, even if it's just like get into groups and take turns on hitting a heavy bag or a bob dummy, simulated fighting, sparring is one of the most, if not the most important things that anyone learning martial arts can do. Because if you're not being taught how to fight, if you don't know how to defend yourself, then all of this kung fu and stuff you're learning is a fucking waste of time. Correct me if I'm wrong, and I'm sure there's retards out there that have never done martial arts in their lives. You know, trolls that will try and justify it as if they know the real answers, you know. But if you were doing kung fu or karate or taekwondo or anything, and you were not at least doing heavy bag training once a week, or sparring once a week at least, you are fooling fucking nobody. Because the problem with that is, you've got all these people in Laogar Kung Fu that have trained for years. They know Flower Fist, they know all these fancy Shaolin Kung Fu moves. And I'm not doubting the authenticity of the style. You know, it's the fact that nobody does any sparring at all. So you've got all these people that have been doing Kung Fu for fucking years, and they fight like little kids. Oh yeah, I've been doing Laogar Kung Fu for 10 years. I've had 5 sparring matches. Yeah, give me a fucking break. Fucking shit. That's my thoughts on Laogar Kung Fu. When I was in GTF Taekwondo, we were doing sparring all the time. Practically every lesson, sparring. At the end of every lesson, put the pads on. Now, when I say sparring, for people that don't know about martial arts, you know, it's light contact tapping, but we are doing simulated fighting. We are trying to hit each other, but we're not kicking the shit out of each other, you see? So it's not like blood sport or like fighting to the death or something like Mortal Kombat. You know, you put the pads on, watch the contact. If you hit someone too hard, you apologise. If you hit someone really hard, you get in serious fucking trouble. You probably get thrown out a window or something. But in Laogar Kung Fu, none of it. So I don't respect any martial arts school that claims to be so good and like, you know, everyone else is crap and all of this stuff. And you don't teach people how to fight. In Taekwondo, they taught us how to bow, how to tie a belt, how to fight, how to do everything. And that's how you should do it. That's what I do with my martial arts courses. But anyway, I wanted to like Laogar Kung Fu. I liked Wing Chun, but I got my first level of Wing Chun, which is, I think, the same as Bruce Lee did. But I think the Wing Chun I learned was probably better than his. Yeah. So I gave up Laogar Kung Fu as well. And, you know, the last Laogar Kung Fu lesson I had, the club, when I started, was really good. And there was like 15, 20 people. And we were learning every week, but we didn't do any sparring. It was fucking rubbish in that respect. Fucking rubbish. If you want to do push-ups and aerobics and fucking patterns, brilliant. Push-ups and patterns classes. But when it comes to fighting, they haven't got a fucking clue what they're doing. And like I said earlier, this is the most popular kung fu in this country. So that's the fucking standards that I've got, saying that that's a pile of shit. But it's only because of my experiences. It's only my opinion, you see. If Laogar Kung Fu is all you know, that is a damn sight better than not being able to defend yourself if someone mugs you or attacks you. Don't you think? So I gave up Laogar Kung Fu, I gave up Wing Chun, I gave up the Tai Chi at uni. And after I left uni, I gave up the Laogar Kung Fu. And for the last time. And I was doing Tai Chi learning from home. So I was doing Tai Chi at home and learning a form, and it probably took me about 6 months to learn the form and about a year to get it down and join the dots and stuff. But naturally, I'm only human. I make mistakes and things. I'm not 100% perfect, but I've learned a very rare Tai Chi form, the Kwang Ping Yang. Right side. I don't do both sides. You know, I'm human. I learned the Tai Chi form because it was so difficult. I thought, oh my fucking God, that looks impossible. So I deliberately learned it. And I recommend anyone who likes martial arts deliberately try and find something obscure and learn off the beam martial arts, because the thing is, it's like I said, in this country, I mean, I cannot speak for all people in the world, but in this country, Lao Gar Kung Fu and Taekwondo were the two of the most mainstream fucking martial arts you could get. It was like the top of the pops of fucking martial arts, you know, mainstream Coca-Cola martial arts. And I went off track and started learning from this DVD and applying the discipline that I've learned from Taekwondo and from Kung Fu. So I was training from home, but you've got to understand, I was first dan in Taekwondo, assistant instructor. I could have had a club when I was 16. So I was nobody's fool. I was pro level anyway, you know. Practically, I could have, you know, not that anyone's making shitloads of money out of it where I lived at the time, but it would have been possible. I could have had a club at 16, 17, easy, if I wanted it, with help. You know, I'm not saying things happen overnight, but it would have been possible. But yeah, so basically I started training from home. I never really stopped training from home. Whilst I was doing all this Kung Fu, Taekwondo, Tai Chi, I was still training with weapons and things at home as well. And bag training and things. You know, it's all different stuff. So I started learning American Kempo around 2007 we are now. I spent a year just doing American Kempo self-defense techniques, going through them. I can hardly remember any of them now. But Kempo is basically, the American Kempo is very good. But what I think with the American Kempo system that I learned is, it's like doing 10 moves to destroy someone, whereas you could have done it in about 2 or 3. That's Kempo for me, you know. It's very good. But any martial art, I'm not trying to badmouth martial arts. I'm just offering my perspective, my opinions, my history from my training. Any martial art is better. Knowing some moves and being able to defend yourself is better than knowing nothing. That's what I think. It's all good. Being able to defend yourself is better than having people pick on you and bully you and stuff like this. But yes, I mean, I was learning from home. I did American Kempo and stuff. And then I saw on eBay, of all places, learn Snake Fist Karate, learn Total Protection System, and all these obscure martial arts. And the courses were very affordable. It was cheap. It wasn't like I paid $1,000 to become 10th Dan or any of this bullshit. It was like, pay about 20 quid, learn from beginner to black belt. If you want to learn more, you can. You know, it's very easy going. The guy was from America. And Snake Fist Karate 2008. Snake Fist Karate twice a week. Total Protection 3 times a week. Total Protection System. Jack Clark. 10th Dan. If you're still going, I think that Total Protection System course was amazing. You know, and Snake Fist Karate. Well, I'm the Grandmaster of the Snake Fist Karate Federation. So that speaks for itself. But yes, I'd done all these styles and all this training and all this wasted fucking time training locally, training in these clubs. But I thank God that I trained in all of these different clubs, because it gave me the discipline and the groundwork, especially Taekwondo. It gave me the discipline to apply to home training, you see. So, I mean, I would encourage people to learn from wherever they want to learn. But yeah, it was fantastic to be able to learn Snake Fist Karate and Total Protection System. And I did Praying Mantis Kung Fu from home. I did loads of styles. And there comes a point in a man's life, or a woman's, or anyone's life that's into martial arts. You might crave all of these martial arts courses and all of this. I want to learn everything. And I understand where you're coming from. But you will reach a point where you cannot learn everything. You cannot learn everything, you just can't. So you may as well go through a few styles and maybe, you know, do a few, go through a few a year. But yeah, so I trained intensely snakefist karate, and then later on, 2010, I started doing Shorinkenjitsu. I did Kambalam Kung Fu, Praying Mantis Kung Fu, because of the Laogar background and stuff, and Wing Chun and Tai Chi and stuff. So I did that, and I was doing the Tai Chi from home. I was super busy when it comes to martial arts. And I have to say this, but nobody where I live, I had friends that were into martial arts. I influenced a lot of lads my age to get into karate and stuff. I knew a few people that were into like stuff like I'm into, but nobody influenced me or forced me to do any of the martial arts. I signed up for it myself. It comes from within. You really have to want to learn if you're going to be any good. You've got to want to do this shit. I wouldn't say, oh yeah, do it because I do it and you'll be a black belt. You've got to want to do it because you want to do it with this training stuff. So yeah, I mean, I did it because I wanted to do it. And I'm still training. So basically, after learning all of these styles from home, going from mainstream martial arts to really obscure stuff for the sake of it. You know, I've even seen a video. There's a video available online somewhere, King Kong Kung Fu. And these styles exist. That's the funniest thing. If you can be bothered to look for them, you can even get like duck fist and things, you know, it's real. There's lots and lots of obscure Kung Fu and styles out there. And you might be thinking, why do I champion martial arts that nobody's ever heard of? And the thing is, right, if you were an expert martial artist, an expert fighter, well, you might be used to people fighting or attacking you a certain way. But if you are an expert in a martial art that most people have never even seen, people can't really read you. They can't really judge they can't predict you. Especially someone that's from like a MMA background. I know, you know, monkeys martial arts and morons martial arts is MMA. But that's, again, like I said with other martial arts, knowing some MMA is better than not being able to defend yourself. But I'm talking at an expert level. You get an MMA guy who knows a handful of moves and he's trained them a lot, so he's good. He can have a fight. But if he comes up against someone who's an expert in stuff and he's not used to any of their moves, he doesn't even know what's coming next, it's big trouble. You know, it's really difficult to predict. And that's why, one of the reasons why I champion these rare styles. I encourage anyone to learn a rare martial art. It's like me with my martial arts courses. You learn one of my styles and you put the effort in, you'll be stronger than most people in the martial arts because my styles are different. It's not to say mine's better than everyone else's. All of this being better than everyone else, it's the sporting elements, the competing. We're not competing with anyone. We're just doing this stuff, you know? So, I trained with all of these martial arts and it's practically all I did. You know, I did martial arts. I drank about 10 million beers over the years. I gave up all the booze and everything else. And I worked. And I trained. When I wasn't playing video games like Mario and stuff, I was training. If I wasn't working. And that was what I was into, and I just carried on. And all of my friends gave up and people changed, and some people changed personality. Some of my friends died of drugs or something. You know, people move on. And none of my friends were into martial arts, except maybe a couple. But most of the people I hung around with didn't do martial arts. I mean, I had one friend who said, I'm an expert in martial arts, I just never told anyone about it. And it's like, fuck off. You know, if I wasn't one of his best mates, I would have said, look, fuck off, pal. You don't know any fucking martial arts, fuck off. But, you know, you humour a lot of people when you're an expert. You know that you're deadly, so you tolerate a lot of people. You don't let people push you about, but you humour people a lot more, you know. And, yeah, so I trained in all these styles. Then I started creating my own styles. So I had Doryu, 2010, Halloween, almost 14 years ago. I was certified as Grandmaster in Doryu. Now, the trolls and the morons are like, oh, you paid $6 million and you became a Grandmaster. Well, no. The reality is, the guy who owns Snake Fist Karate and the SKKA, Brett Ernest, if you didn't have a video or something, you could just email him and write down what you've done. So, I mean, at the time, I wasn't into media studies. Nobody had computers much. I had a computer for a few years. I could turn the thing on and move the mouse a bit, but I was no expert with a video camera and stuff. So, I mean, I would just email him what I've done and write it down, and I've documented it, and he would verify it. And the same with my styles. I wrote down yellow belt, this level, green belt, this level, all the way from beginner to 9th Dan black belt, all the moves, the syllabus, there it is. Email it to him, I mean, and it's like, I was terrified that he would email me back and say, this is fucking shit, what do you think you're doing? But he emailed me back and said, this is a brilliant style, well done. And, you know, I was thrilled. So I had my courses verified, my styles verified by Brett Ernest, who was the Grandmaster, the original creator of the SKKA and the courses and stuff. The original, you know, the Grandmaster of Snake Fist Karate and Shorinkenjitsu and Tiger Jiu-Jitsu and stuff. And yeah, I mean, one of my styles, I think he verified it for about $10. So what was that, about 6 or 7 quid or something? You know, so I never paid much. And that shows like how good I was. I never said, oh yeah, if I give you $1,000, will you make me 8th Dan? That shit does go on. I can see where the trolls are coming from, but not with me. You see, I am the sort of person that does not tell lies. If I was making up shit, I would admit it, you know, but I'm not. But anyway, I created all of these martial arts and I filmed them, and literally 2013, the MFMA started, and I've been carrying on training. I've got all of these courses and books and things. Everybody is welcome to come and learn. You can read my books. It's all true. You can listen to this and read one of my books and the stories match, because people that tell the truth only have one story. I don't have 10 million different versions of events. You see, people that tell lies always change their stories. But yeah, so I mean, I created all these styles. I've got lesson programs and things. And Brett Ernest, who verified me as Grandmaster many times, Black Lotus Martial Arts Association, they verified me a couple of times. Grandmaster Larry McFadden, praises, you know, blessings to all these people I met along the way. And I'm still training. I'm still learning, still training, still doing this stuff. I train at home, I train in my own styles. I train in other styles as well, like Snake Fist and other stuff, Tai Chi, Chi Kung, weapons and things. But I train in my own styles as well, which, you know, should reinforce how good they are. But in lots of martial arts schools, it's like, we're better than everyone else. I think I'm superior to everyone who ever lived. You know, I am just a human being. I've got a sense of humour, but it's a friendly welcome for people that want to learn. Anywhere in the world, You can join my clubs, you can learn, you can speak to me on the email, I can email you back, I can help you with any styles. I mean, I've even recommended people locally to a Krav Maga club, because they said, oh, do you know anywhere that does this? And I said, well, what about this style? You know, what about this Krav Maga stuff? You know, it's just helping each other out. And you can tell, because lots of the martial arts experts are a lot friendlier than we're depicted by these trolls and pretenders. The trolls is like, blah, 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 Thomas Doll, this and that. Well, these fat idiots in America live literally thousands of miles away. And I've got hundreds of, probably about 100 people at least in America who I've taught. And these trolls who claim me to be a fraud and stuff, they need their fucking heads examined. I find it funny, really. I feel sorry for these people because they're trying their best to look like martial arts experts, but they're not. So yeah, just ignore the trolls and the bullshit and these people trying to get attention, because when it comes to the crunch, they don't back up their words. Whereas in real life, I'm doing this shit, I'm teaching people, I'm writing books, I've got courses and stuff, and anyone with an ounce of common sense can look at my catalogue, can look at my courses, look at all the stuff I have to offer. And you can learn from me. You can learn a hell of a lot more from me than you can from probably about 100 more martial artists put together. You see? So that's what being a grandmaster is all about. Not being like, I'm better than everyone else is shit. But rather, I can teach you if you want to learn. If you want to learn some of the strongest self-defense techniques, some of the strongest martial arts on earth, I have the courses to teach you. And I have to say, it's not going to be easy. But the people that learn my courses and actually train at home or with their friends and family at home, just twice a week, they come back to me after a few months and they say, Thomas, this is awesome. And they normally buy another course. It's all very real. I don't have any respect for any trolls online or people calling each other fake, because they are the fakes. So yeah, I am a grandmaster many times over. I am very well documented and respected. And any trolls or nonsense is not to be taken seriously. It got to the point where the police told these people off. So I wouldn't put any faith in people calling me fake and all of these bullshit names, because if they lived nearby where I live now, they would probably be in wheelchairs, put it that way. Nobody round here is calling me fake and fraud and all of this stuff. Everybody knows the truth. Always stand by the truth. You see, in any of the martial arts clubs I used to train in, if you were talking that shit and making up crap about people, you'd probably be thrown through the window head first. And serves you fucking right too. But anyway, in the real world, not the troll, fake martial arts, whereas I'm the real one, whereas in reality they're the troll world, not in the online bullshit world, but in the real world, anyone who wants to learn my martial arts can pick up a course. You can join. You don't have to be a member to learn my styles. And people that are experts in my martial arts, of any kind, can pick up my courses and learn them as well. I can teach you from beginner to normally about 7th Dan in practically all of my styles. If you want to learn. If you buy all of the courses and you don't do the moves, you don't do anything, but you still think you're a master, then that's your problem. You know, I do not teach people how to live their lives. I teach martial arts to those who want to learn. And I did video courses, DVD courses and things, and now digital video, you know, online, because I can reach more people. I've taught people the other side of the world in places I'll never visit. I can reach a lot bigger audience with my courses, and it is a pleasure to teach people around the world martial arts. And the way I see it is, if I help just one person and they learn to defend themselves, one day somebody attacks them and they kick the shit out of them, they protect themselves, they stop it from happening. My job is done. I've done the right thing, you see. So I help people, I teach people, and it's a hobby. I write books. I'm not a millionaire, look at me, I'm better than everyone else. But lots of people have said to me, what, you know, when I'm at work, what are you doing here? How come you're not rich and famous? You should be famous. You're really fucking good and all this. So it's like lots of people know I'm good, you know, and thank you to all of you. People saying I'm good and all of this stuff. It means a lot to me. But I'll never let any of it go to my head, because I break my own back with hard training. That's why when these trolls had a go at me, I barked at them so much they couldn't take it back. In 14 years, nobody ever stood up to me. They might have said a few things online, but none of these idiots online come back to me. So that should speak volumes, really. Everybody's tough online. In the real world, it's a friendly welcome. I'm not the big monster that all these jealous pricks like to portray me as. I don't have any criminal record. I don't do any illegal drugs. I don't drink. I'm just a normal person who likes martial arts. When I'm not doing martial arts, I work, I play my video games, I watch like American Ninja and stuff like that. And, you know, a few other things as well. And that's it. I mean, if I was a millionaire, multi-millionaire, I would still look you in the eyes and say, hello, mate, how are you? All right. Just a normal person who does martial arts. So there's no delusions of grandeur. There's none of this, I think I'm fucking better than everyone else. You know, it's just a normal person who does martial arts, and it's a friendly welcome for anyone who actually wants to do this shit seriously. People that want to learn martial arts from one of the best in the world. I'm here for you. Even if you're someone who's already a world-class expert like me and you just want to try one of my courses, that's fair enough. Yeah, so I mean, with the courses, with any martial arts, you cannot buy a video course, watch it and think, oh fucking hell, that karate's crap. I mean, you can, but the styles, the karate's not crap. It's you that's crap. If you buy one of my courses and you do what it fucking tells you to do, and you put the effort in and you train at least twice a week, give it a few months, now we're talking. Now we're cooking with gas. You see, so with the martial arts, fuck the team, fuck the gold medals, and who's got the best belt. You're either into the training or you're not. Training is the most important thing. If you don't like training, you don't like being told what to do, I can't help you. But if you want to learn martial arts from any of my schools, that's fantastic. I will put the links to my courses and my schools below. Anyone who wants to check me out, see what I'm all about. I'm friendly. Basically, I'm no different than any other person on this planet. I'm friendly, I'm a nice person. If you try and attack me or give me shit, I might crack your fucking head open. But that's just self-defense, which is what all martial arts should be about. I don't bully people. I don't pick on people. If they attack me first, what do these people expect? You know exactly what I'm talking about. Thank you for listening. I hope you have a fantastic day. So yeah, that's me, Grandmaster Thomas Dool. I'm still training, I'm still going strong, and I'll probably still be training in 10 years' time. God bless. Thank you for listening.